David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review and a giveaway. I have two pens from Platinum to show you today, and these are a new model in their Procyon line called the Procyon Luster. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the Platinum Procyon Luster, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about them. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. And stay tuned, as I mentioned, I will be giving one of these pens away, courtesy of Luxury Brands, who is the US distributor for Platinum, as well as several other brands. They have provided these pens for review and for giveaway to one of you. The pen arrives in this hard plastic box, and inside we have a pen. This is the Procyon Luster. The Procyon line was launched back in 2018. I do have a review of the original model on my channel if you wanted to check that out, and they have recently released the Procyon Luster in 4 different colors. According to Platinum, the 4 new colors of the Luster line were added to give the pen a more luxury feel suited for adults. The 3 new colors are Black Mist, Rose Gold, Champagne Gold, and Satin Silver. This one here is the Champagne Gold, and then this model here is the Rose Gold. I'll give you a closer look at this Rose Gold model during the writing sample. Now, personally, I didn't see anything, really youthful about the original Procyon, but with this model, I would liken it to what Lamy has done with their All-Star and their LX versions. The name Procyon refers to a star. It is the brightest star in the constellation Canis Minor. The Procyon name is derived from ancient Greek, and it means before the dog, which makes sense because it travels across the sky ahead of Sirius, which is otherwise known as the dog star. Something I found interesting was while to the naked eye Procyon appears to be a single star, it is actually 2. There is a larger one, Procyon A, and a smaller white dwarf called Procyon B. The material here has more of a smooth satin look to it as opposed to the more matte look of the original Procyon. The cap and barrel are made from aluminum, which has been sandblasted and anodized. The top is chrome-plated aluminum, and the trim is chrome-plated brass, and the clip is chrome-plated iron. Let's take a look at the cap. It comes to a nice rounded point. The finial transitions into the clip, which is sturdy and functional. The clip has a little bump out at the top, and it tapers down slightly. The cap is fairly straight. It does angle up slightly until about this point, where it straightens out for the last inch and a half or so of the cap. At the end of the cap is a metal band. There is no printing on the band itself, but above the band on one side it is printed with Procyon, and on the other side it says Made in Japan. There is a slight angled step down from the cap to the barrel. The barrel is straight for about an inch and then tapers down to the end, which is rounded but less pointed than the cap. One thing I feel they missed with the design of this pen was a reference to the inspiration behind the Procyon name. I think it would have been nice to incorporate maybe a star or something like that into the design. I mean, it wouldn't have needed to be anything major either. It could have been just like a printed star on the back of the cap, or maybe one on either side of the name of the pen on the cap. The cap twists off with a single rotation. The Procyon cap has Platinum's slip and seal mechanism. This is a mechanism which you will find on their 3776 models as well. It creates a complete airtight seal in the cap, helping prevent ink from drying out on the nib and the feed. They claim it's for up to a year. I will say that when you cap this pen, the capping mechanism feels a bit different than that of the 3776. On the 3776, you could really feel the spring tension once you get to the last quarter turn of the cap, but on the Procyon, I really don't feel that. It just feels like a normal twist cap. There isn't much tension in the spring. That's not to say it isn't working, it just feels a little bit different. Once you get the cap off, we have a new nib for Platinum, which was introduced a couple of years ago with the launch of the original Procyon. On it is stamped the Platinum P logo. This nib is available in both fine and medium. You can see here how the nib on the Procyon compares to 2 other Platinum pens. Here we have the Plaisir on the left and the Cool on the right. You can see that for the Procyon, the nib is a bit more elongated. You can see here how the nib kind of hooks on to the side of the feed. And here's a look at the plastic feed. This feed was another new design for Platinum, launched with the original Procyon. It utilizes what Platinum calls the last drop mechanism. The pen will fill from that little rectangular hole near the end of the feed. So it's helpful when you are trying to fill from an almost empty ink bottle or even from a shallow bottle like those from Sailor. You'll see in the writing sample, but I find both the medium and fine nibs offered to be a bit too fine for my tastes. Now, that's just a personal preference. I know that there are many folks out there who love fine and extra fine nibs. I've just found that the nibs on these pens, while they perform very well, I just find them more closely related to more traditional Japanese line widths as opposed to Western ones. The end of the section is slightly raised, which helps your grip from sliding off the end. Not that this resin section is slick at all. It's angled at the end to fit better into the inner cap mechanism. Now, it's hard to see from this picture, but the resin of the section is more of like a translucent smoke color. Here's a picture I took with a flashlight in which you could see better through the translucency and see the feed and the housing inside the section. In normal light, it's hardly noticeable at all. The pen is comfortable in the hand, and the metal threads are not sharp. I like that the transition from the section to the barrel has an angled step up. The benefit of this is if your grip should rest on this transition, then it's considerably more comfortable than if it was just a straight 90-degree angled step up. The cap does post, and it does post securely. The cap is fairly light, enough so that I don't feel it backweights the pen or throws off the balance at all. For me, the end of the cap rubs against the side of my hand, but I don't find that edge to be sharp or uncomfortable. The Procyon Luster is a cartridge converter pen. With the metal barrel and section, eyedropping this pen would not be advised. While a cartridge is included with the pen, a converter is not. A reminder that Platinum uses a proprietary system, so standard international cartridges and converters will not work with this pen. So if you decide to pick up one of these pens, throwing in a Platinum converter in the cart at the same time would be recommended. Something interesting about Platinum cartridges is that they have a rather large metal agitator, which at first acts as a seal, but once you install a cartridge into your pen, that seal is broken and the ball is pushed into the cartridge and acts as an agitator to ensure the ink maintains a solid flow. I will say though that when you are turning this pen around, you can hear the metal ball rolling around in there, and you can feel a slight vibration of it hitting the ends of the cartridge as well. It is fairly quiet, but loud enough that it's a bit of a pet peeve for me. So I prefer to use a converter with this pen. I actually have a couple of special Platinum converters, which I will share with you during the writing sample. The Platinum Procyon Luster is available from a number of retailers and sells for right around $60, which is just a little bit more than the price of the original Procyon is going for right now. Platinum has a few other offerings just below this price, mainly the Balance and the Cool, both retailing for around $45. I feel the Procyon is a step up in materials and quality from those two models, so I feel the increase in price is warranted. There's a lot to like about the Procyon. It is an aluminum pen that doesn't feel lightweight or cheap. The new colors for the Luster series are nice. Would it have been nice to have a converter included? Of course, yes. Thanks again go out to Luxury Brands for providing these pens for review and to give one of these away to one of you. If you would care to win one of these pens, you need to do three things. You need to be a subscriber to this channel, you need to like this video, and also leave a comment below. In regard to a comment topic, between the Lamy LX as well as the Procyon Luster, there have been a couple of companies coming out with more luxury versions of their pens. Let me know if there are any other pen models you would care to see luxury versions of, and what that might entail. The comment topic is just a suggestion and not a requirement. Additional detail about this contest can be found in the notes below. A couple of notes about the last giveaway I ran a couple of weeks ago for the Kaweco Sport. First of all, good job by the winner in getting back to me quickly after I replied to their comment, letting them know that they won. Second of all, once I have made contact with the winner, I will typically make a community post congratulating them, as well as congratulating them in the notes below the video. I had a number of folks asked who had won the prize, even when the info had been put out there. And finally, don't be like the one viewer who emailed me claiming that they were the winner when in fact they were not, and were just trying to scam a pen. Not cool. But come on, I'm smart enough not to fall for a poorly thought out scam like that. Okay, enough about that. How about we take a look at some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Procyon Luster. Again, this one was the champagne gold, and then this is what it looks like in comparison to the rose gold. And then in regard to a couple of other platinum pens, this is the Platinum Procyon, as well as the Platinum Cool. And in regard to a couple of other pens, here it is with a Platinum 3776, a Leonardo Momento Zero Grande in Jonathan Brooks primary manipulation colors. I just love the colors on that model. And then finally, I have a new acquisition, which is a pen from Ryan Krusak, which is this Orion model here. This was a model that Ryan introduced maybe about a year or so ago. It has wood, and then the trim is ebonite and has a hand-bent clip on here, which looks really nice. The ebonite the ebonite trim is really nice on here. So that I would encourage you to check out Ryan Krusak's site. He has a nice variety of things, and this pen is one of those varieties. In regard to some size comparisons, here it is with the Platinum Cool, and then this is with the Platinum Procyon. And then this is with the 3776. Now, I mentioned I had a couple of interesting platinum converters to show you. These were ones that I actually picked up when I purchased my Nakayas. And if you know, Nakaya is kind of a sister company to Platinum in a way. And this is what the box looks like. And even though I purchased these, I haven't used them in my pen. I don't know. I don't feel like messing them up. But what they are is Mackie converters. And so this is a platinum converter, and on here, this one is the tadpoles. And then I have one more here, which by the label, you can see is goldfish. So one of these days, I actually need to use these. But, you know, I almost wish that I had a pen that was a demonstrator so that you could actually see this artwork from the outside. But I think that they are very cool and very interesting. And I need to use these in my Nakaya pens. Okay, here we go with the writing sample for the Platinum. And this is the Procyon. And this is the Luster. This is a fine stainless steel nib. And the ink that I'm just using is the cartridge that came with the pen, which is a, we'll just call it Platinum Blue. And in regard to a writing sample, I had mentioned before that this fine is very fine. It's more of a Japanese fine than a Western fine, almost to the point where it's extra fine. It does have a bit of feedback to it. You're not going to get much line variation in regard to here. The ink flow is decent out of here in regard to some reverse writing. It is a little scratchy, but it does lay down an extra fine line. And in regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up just fine. And in regard to the rose gold model here, this rose gold model, it has a medium nib on it. So just so you can see how the medium nib is different. I will say that I had the cap off this pen for a little bit, so it did have a little bit of a hard start. I think that's mainly because I had the lid off just for a little bit. So there we have the Platinum Procyon Luster. Again, this is the rose gold model, and this one is the champagne gold model. Make sure to leave your comment and subscribe to this channel and like the video for your chance to win one of these. I'll actually give the winner their choice. The rose gold is in medium and the champagne gold is in fine. So I think that the Procyon Luster is a decent addition to the Platinum lineup in its price range, and it's well worth checking out. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.